saying, in many families, adults speak to babies in simplified language. Yet, constantly repeating simple phrases like nice kitty, see the kitty, does not provide extra help to children in learning a language. Okay, so people do this, but it actually doesn't help the kids. And we know this because there are families in which no one speaks to babies in this simplified language, yet those children in these families master the grammatical structure of their language just as quickly as other children do. So we're saying, hey, even though they don't do it, they still master this grammatical structure as quickly as other children do. So therefore, talking in this way doesn't help children learn the language. What is our conclusion, Alma?
It's the last sentence. So pretty much just saying that it doesn't really matter how they, oh, I'm sorry. Were you asking for the answer or the conclusion?
No. What was the conclusion? Sorry, doesn't really matter.
Oh, no. I was saying, I was simplifying the sentence.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, of course. No. What? Okay, you think it's the last sentence?
I do, because it's practically saying that that doesn't matter how they speak, even if they you simplify.
It's supporting it. Trish, what sentence
Okay.
do you think is the main conclusion? You're close, Alma. Trish, what sentence do you have for the main conclusion?
I think the first one, in many families.
All right, Kamani, what sentence? I'm just kidding. Kamani, what do you think is the conclusion?
I think it's yet the children in these
families. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, real quick on here. So this first sentence, Trish, is just background information. In many families, this is what happens. And then we have this contradiction here. We're saying, yet constantly doing this does not provide extra help to children in learning a language. Well, I read that, I'm like, well, why? How do we know that? And then, Alma, this is where you had the conclusion in the sense of you were saying the right idea. I just didn't know if you had the right sentence. And we're saying, we know this, and this is referring to constantly repeating simple phrases because, so this is our support. This is being used to explain our conclusion. We're supporting this conclusion that repeating these phrases does not help.
This is like the second time I've missed the yet, so I need to focus on the yet.
No worry. And then ask yourself, if we're struggling with it, ask ourselves, what does the person writing this want us to walk away and know? What are they convincing us to do? What are they persuading us to do? They're persuading us to say, hey, this doesn't matter. All right. And so Jemmy had a really good question earlier. He's like, wait, this answer choice is strong. Yes. First, when you're picking answer choices, go with the logical answer. Go with the logical answer. Our answer choice can only be as strong as the conclusion, but if we're narrowing it down into when in doubt, go mild. So this is always, don't just pick the most mild answer. It has to logically make sense first. But if you're debating between two, the more mild one tends to be correct. And so for this one, what does this argument depend on? So what is needed for this idea for for those phrases not to matter to be true? Well, A, babies pay no extra attention to spoken phrases with simple grammatical structures. Do we care that babies pay no attention to those things? No. What about B? Speaking to babies in simplified language could impair their language learning. Well, are we talking about, maybe it could, but what if speaking to babies in a simplified language could not impair their language learning? Does that do anything to our argument? We're not talking about simplified language impairing language learning. We're just saying that simplified language doesn't help. And then D, many, which many means many things. So many linguistics believe that speaking to babies in simplified language helps babies learn. Okay, cool that many linguistics think this, but even if they didn't think this, that's just their opinion. That doesn't destroy our argument. And then E, to learn a language, one must acquire its vocabulary as well as its grammatical structure. Well, did we mention vocabulary ever in the stimulus? Which is why it's C, and I do see what Jemmy's saying about it being strong. We're saying any child who has mastered the grammatical structure of a language has learned the language. We need this to be true because we're saying the support that we're giving for this not mattering is that people that don't talk this way, those children master the grammatical structure of their language. And that's what we're referring to as like being successful of a language. And so if that's not true, then our support goes out the window, then we have no support. Do we have any questions on this question?
It kind of, see, I agree it's a necessary assumption question, but it looks like this is sufficient assumption question too,
Yes.
right?
Yep, it can be. Excellent. I like so not to get confused, technically C would also be a sufficient assumption.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
So wait, Nicole, is E saying that you need pretty much both of
You
those
need
things?
both of those things. Yes. So great example, Zach. Do we see here how E is stronger than C? So here we go, Jemmy. Let's say you narrowed it down to C and E. When in doubt, the more mild one, E is requiring both of these things, which makes it too strong, where C is just requiring the one that our stimulus talked about. All right, so now go ahead and